What muscles are used in a handstand? How long is a piece of string? To some extent you could say that the entire body is used, but we can do better than that, as some muscles play a more important role than others. Knowing what muscles are used for the associated action can help you identify the puzzle piece that you are struggling with. It can then be worked on in isolation before being integrated back into your skills practice. So this is actually very useful, apart from being able to answer the classic bro question in the gym. Different styles of handstand will change certain elements of this. So for reference, I'll be covering the modern day acrobatic straight line handstand. From the ground up, the wrist flexors. One of our primary means of balance in handstand, as they correct overbalancing or falling over. As you can see, it's similar to how we use our ankle and foot to keep ourselves upright. The triceps, which extend and straighten the arms. Yes, you can do a handstand with bent elbows, but with zero tricep engagement, your head would be on the floor. The shoulder elevators, which provide our vertical push. This kind of helps us create a hip joint out of our shoulder joint. Both are a ball and socket joint, but the hip is rather encased in bone, whereas the shoulder sits in a very shallow socket. Thus, through muscular engagement, we create stability that allows us to perform handstands safely and effectively. Honourable mention to the four muscles that form the rotator cuff. The primary role of the rotator cuff is to stabilise the shoulder joint. Very important. Strengthen them. The shoulder flexors, for opening the shoulder angle. Very important when positioning our shoulder over the hand and achieving a straight line with the arms and torso. The shoulder extensors, for closing the shoulder angle. In tandem with flexion, extension helps us adjust and correct our shoulder position. You will notice both playing a part most obviously during a handstand entry, such as a press handstand. Scapular protraction, provides horizontal push. Though not strictly a handstand, this is very noticeable during a planche, and present but less so in a press handstand or kick-up. Hip adduction, for keeping the legs together, a minor but nonetheless significant action. The hip extensors, for opening the hip angle. If you could not extend your hips to stack the lower limbs over the torso in line with the shoulders and hands, you would be in trouble. In this way, the hip extensors also contribute to balance and line recorrection. Additionally, squeezing your butt helps to stabilize the hips. The hip flexors. Opposite to hip extension is flexion, or closing the hip angle, used when we do press handstands, entries, and also contributes to lower body line corrections, adjustments, and rebalancing. The quadriceps, or quads, are firepower and propulsion system for the jump variations of handstand entries. They also allow us to straighten our legs, which means we have one less hinge to manage whilst balancing. The abdominals help with posterior pelvic tilt or tucking the hips under, which also helps stabilize and flatten the spine, creating a bridge of tension between the lower and upper limbs. Though core development is often overemphasized in relation to handstand, without any core muscles whatsoever or zero engagement, we would be flopping all over the place and unable to keep the spine stabilized and vertical. So, have a think about your own handstand struggles. For example, not being able to activate your glutes or tuck your hips under. You could then work on pelvic tilt articulations and glute bridges separate from your handstand. There are many examples of this. Spend some time reflecting on your needs and be your own proactive problem solver. Sign up for my free video lesson in the description, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this piece of content. Thanks for sticking around until the end. Happy training.